Okay. All right. So this is part two. And with this whole situation, for those of you who just missed part one, I just create this beautiful diagram showing how to really just confirm or test your audience, right, for what you have to offer. And um, and so what's next is, with having this drawing board that I just illustrated, where you can test an idea by really having, compelling evidence, right, of what we call proof of concept, right? So we use the illustration of someone with a hair care product that they knew made a difference, that they had testimonials and images and et cetera, et cetera. And they were able to, test their audience, right, to see what level of engagement that existed. So that being said, let's go into the next slide here. Um, and I want to share with you kind of part of the reason why I'm going through this process, right? I discovered something last year that in order for you to win um, the game of digital marketing, you just have to have a spirit of invincibility. And I'm committed to just providing the sort of based on a case study, providing some of the insights and strategies that were leveraged when I work with one of my clients to really be fortified, right, in their digital marketing strategy and their approach. And for anyone who's just starting out, the one thing you don't want to put nine toes in. Okay, um, just hang on a second. Just go back a little bit. Go back to the previous slide. Yeah. Yep. This is fine. So you don't want to just put nine toes in and sort of cross your fingers and hope that it works. You want to have a sense or a feel like, oh, this is the one. Now, will every idea like gain traction and go all the way? Not necessarily. Some things might be like, wait, for 30 days, it's gonna really, soar and then all of a sudden die off, right? Or what for whatever the reason is. But the confidence that you gain from knowing how to test an idea or test something within your market and at the same and have that test be either zero sum, like you don't lose any money, and or be profitable. That's what's going to keep you in the game, right? The reason why most, of course, there's all kinds of reasons why people quit and stop, but if you know you're not going to lose, you know, too much money in the process, right? And when I mean say lose too much money, I'm talking about well, you're not sustainably able to handle the the growth process, right? So it's like if you're going to lose three or four or $5,000 while you're testing your market, and you don't have a real practical way of recouping that, either in product sales or the price point of a single product, right? Then it can get a little bit scary. And then again, that's why you need some coaching and some guidance and some mentorship to just really make sure you're making some sound decisions. So let's go next to the next slide. Um, and so to become that kind of consultant, that kind of product provider, service provider, or even entrepreneur, you have to be someone who's a subject matter expert, right? And that's what you see there on the left. You just got to know your stuff, know your product, know your niche. The other thing, next circle, is you got to be able to sell. And you just saw me sort of talk about being able to sell online and have a compelling case for people to recognize like the value of what you offer. The third thing that you're going to need is a way to sustainably market. Okay, so you saw, in testing your idea, you're testing, right? You're sharing something on social media. Some people may respond, some people may not respond. Um, but at the end of the day, after that phase, you're going to need something to sustainably continue to bring you the right kind of people, right? Because it's just going to take more than just a few friends liking your post for you to really gain some traction. Okay, you're going to have to scale up. All right. So that brings me to the special sauce in this whole thing is that if you have these three things handled, then you're going to need to do what's next. Go to click next. You're going to need to focus on what's in that middle, right? Which is your revenue scaling system. So once you start generating some revenue, money with your idea, you're going to need to know, well, how do I keep this going, right? So in the case of a hair product, it could be great conditioning techniques. It could be great styles to wear with once your hair grows out. It can be, a hair care retreat. I don't know, right? Like, but whatever it is, you got to be able to learn how to scale what's already working. Okay, next. So, question I have is, are you or your practice invincible, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're doing it as a consultant or doing it as a product provider, is it the whole setup? Is it an invincible setup where you're just not going to be here today and gone tomorrow? Next slide or next click. Okay. So, question I've had in the past is, no. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So next thing that happens is, question is, would you like help figuring these, pieces of the puzzle out, right? So, as you might sense, this is not an easy road or a journey. It requires some support. It requires some partnership. It requires people who know the lay of the land a little bit better and can guide you with some wisdom, some insight, and getting you to where you need to be sooner than later. Okay. So if your answer is yes and you'd like help with figuring this out, as I asked in the previous videos, next slide. Here's what you got to do. Okay. You just got to remember what we're going to talk about. If you need help, is going to be in these three domains: subject matter expertise, extraordinary salesmanship or closing skills, right? And an ability to how to set up a marketing approach, right? And sharpening your marketing skills. Okay. Now you could always outsource some of this stuff, right? You could always outsource the marketing part. You can always outsource even somebody closing and selling on your behalf, right? But the one thing for sure that I hope is that you are knowledgeable, that you are a subject matter expert. And then the last thing is you want to focus in on is how do you scale? Once you start seeing some results, how do you scale that? And that's what your strategy session is going to be about. Okay. Continue. So again, the question still remains: are you or your practice invincible, right? And if it's if you don't have any of these things going on, like at 80, I'd say 75% or higher, it's hard to. I mean, you'll have some success, but like that feeling of, I can handle anything that comes my way will be lacking, right? And that's the whole purpose of this, is to have you feel that you're invincible. Okay, in your marketing approach and in whatever you do. So I'm going to give away, as always, the last thing I in the last presentation, I did offer this free gift for those of you who are, contract employees or an employee, and or even if you're a business owner or a small business owner and you're trying to figure out, well, what's my next move if your business got closed or impacted by the pandemic. There is this #1 pandemic career move contract professionals must make now, right? And although it says contract professionals, it's also relevant for anyone who finds themselves ousted by what's been going on in the world today, right? So there'll be a link available for you to enjoy that, okay? Next slide. So inside of that booklet, that PDF document that you'll download is an opportunity for you to watch a video. And that video will walk you through how to think about your intellectual capital and what you know, and how to apply that and how to make that work for you so that you can, again, get yourself going in the right direction, okay? And pivot in this turbulent job market, right? Continue, next. So to schedule your strategy session for anyone who's interested, you are welcome to head over to apply.stresslessmorerevenue.com. I will be, there's a calendar there, you pick a time, and we'll set up a schedule, a session where we can talk about what you need and how what we offer can make a difference for you. So thank you guys again for watching. And if you have any questions, as I mentioned, we'll go over them during your strategy session. If you see this online, if you see this on YouTube, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, or on Facebook, feel free to do the same. Follow and like, or leave a kind comment. All right. And you can also inbox me, right, as well, to sort of clarify anything you need to clarify. along the way as you're scheduling your appointment, right? If this will make a difference for you. So that's it. All right, guys, appreciate you. And I will see you guys on the other side.